We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of man. Some of you may recognize those words. They come from the lyrics of the song Beautiful City from the play Godspell. My church youth group performed that play this spring, and those words really resonated with me. They carry a message of hope and unity for our world. Yet, how can anything filled with so much pain and disagreement come together to become something beautiful? The image of all the people of this world coming together seems impossible next to all the suffering. Does that mean we should just give up on the beautiful city? Several months ago, I had someone I know tell me that he didn't know if he believed in God anymore because he felt like believing was useless. And even if he went to hell, at least he'd know people there. With a seemingly endless list of terrible things people experience today, physical abuse, horrible accidents, hurtful words, abandonment, depression, anger, fear, shame, and guilt from our mistakes, it's no wonder that things can seem hopeless. And all those things only seem to widen the gap that separates us from each other. In one of his parables, Jesus talks about how if a shepherd has 100 sheep, but one goes missing, the shepherd will go out into the wilderness to find that one sheep. Just like how every one of the shepherd's sheep is important to him, God has a purpose for every one of his children. If the fence keeping the sheep together is broken, the sheep will wander out on their own and eventually forget the others. To hear God's call, not only do we have to be open to God, but we have to be open to each other. A little boy asked, "Why do we water the grass?" "To make it green," was the answer he received. "But water isn't green," was his acute observation. To truly explain why water helps make the grass green when water itself isn't green requires explaining things that aren't visible. We can't see the grass soaking up the water, taking it in through its roots. And there are a lot of other components that go into making grass green, too. Good soil, sunlight, chlorophyll, a complex molecule created by nutrients in the soil. In the same way, when we ask ourselves questions about other people, why they act certain ways, or why they believe certain things, their reasons can be things that we don't know or that we don't fully understand. And like that little boy, sometimes to fully understand, even when we have an answer to our question, we have to ask other questions that maybe we haven't thought of before. Paul says that just because we all have one faith and believe in the same God doesn't mean that we should all look and speak and act the same. And we don't. Every one of us and all the people in this world have lived different lives and been through different experiences. And our personal lives and experiences have shaped our values, our opinions, our convictions, and the way we're affected by the people and events we come in contact with. Paul also says that God has given us each our own gifts. Gifts can refer to talents or skills such as public speaking, musical ability, mathematical ability, or the ability to communicate with different types of people. But gifts can also mean different ways of looking at life and of understanding what we see and experience. And knowing that God has blessed us all with our own lives and ways of seeing and understanding life also takes realizing that it isn't always going to be easy to understand each other. However, understanding is an immensely powerful thing. Most of you may remember the Candy Crush craze that swept the nation. For those of you who aren't familiar, Candy Crush was a game where you would try to match at least 3 colored candies in a row to earn points and complete an objective. One update for the game allowed you to go between the regular Candy Crush world and a dream world. The dream world, however, came with an added twist. The representative of the dream world, an owl named Otis, would be perched on what was essentially a teeter-totter with a different colored candy on each end. Every time that you matched candies of one of those colors, the teeter-totter would lean toward the side with the color you matched. If you matched one of the colors too many times without ever matching the other, the teeter-totter would tip too far, causing Otis to fall off and the game to end. It's the same in life. Understanding takes balance. If we always push for our side and don't listen to what other people might be saying, the teeter-totter will become unbalanced and game over. We can end up pushing people away or creating conflicts that lead to more separation and away from that beautiful city. Yet, why do we struggle so much with understanding each other? Are we too afraid of the prospect of changing our minds? From 4th grade through my sophomore year of high school, I lived in the same town in North Carolina. Then, the summer before my junior year, my mother, my sister, and I moved from North Carolina to Indiana. Not only did I have to leave behind all of my friends, my school, and my home, I was faced with the prospect of starting over. At least that's what it seemed like to me. A new town, new school, new people, no sense of control or stability. And I was afraid. I was afraid of letting go, of losing the past. And at the same time, I was hesitant to be myself. I was afraid of what other people would think of me, of their opinions and of their judgments. However, over time, I began to let my perspective change. Did I stop missing what I'd left behind? No. I just stopped thinking about it as what I had left behind. I started thinking about it as a part of my life that had been a wonderful blessing and for which I will always be thankful. And I started thinking of the present. And I came to the conclusion that it could hold wonderful blessings of its own. I just had to be willing to see them. I had to be willing to let go of my fear and live my life. And when I was willing to let myself live life more out in the open, I realized all the things I was missing by holding myself back. Once we've made up our minds, it's hard to let go of what we're comfortable with. It's hard to deal with the possibility of being wrong. But is it worse to never try to understand? To leave the space between us and other people? To let the teeter-totter tip closer and closer to one side? What happens to the shepherd's flock if all his sheep wander off? What happens to God's plan if we're all an important part of it and we choose to separate ourselves from each other or from other people? Close your eyes. What do you think God is calling you to do? Now open your eyes. Look at the people all around you. There are thousands of people in this place. There are billions of people in this world. And God has a purpose for everyone. Together, we can build a beautiful city. Together, we are called on this journey.